Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Tanya. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing well, doing well. Looks like a lot of people here. If you're in the YouTube live, if you guys don't mind, just entering your name or initials or something, just let us know. That way we know you're here with us. See a few people there, but after looking over the milestones and the KPIs, looks like we had some people had some fantastic weeks. So I'm gonna let Tanya jump in and start off. Looks like Esmeralda had, I'm reading this right, 5 closings. So if she's with us, we'll get started. If not, then we'll start with someone else. But I think she is with us. All right, good deal. You ready to get going, Tanya?
Yeah, let's dive in. So before I pass it over to Esmeralda, congratulations, by the way. That's super exciting to have 5 closings. I don't think I've ever done that in my career, so that's awesome. Um, I did just want to mention, like for me, I also have had a busy week. We actually got some leads from listings to leads, and I was excited that people had answered
Mhm.
because they're hit and miss, right? So I got people to answer, and then I even got somebody to respond and said stop. So that means that they're at least getting my messages, right?
That's it. Yeah.
So that was exciting. And then I also set up my email campaign. So I have my emails going out consistently to my SOI. I'm
Uh,
doing the 13 emails that you had mentioned, and I already got people responding on that.
yep.
So that is huge. I think I've only sent out 2 emails so far, and people are already like my past clients love to hear from me. So it's kind of cool to see. And then one other best practice that I've been doing, and I would suggest for everybody, is to try to make do the either 5 phone calls or the 5 videos. I think are more effective on the video side, but I started by doing like the phone calls so that way I don't bombard them with videos right away, and then I'm going to move on to the videos. And people do appreciate me calling because I've been avoiding making phone calls for
Yep.
7 years.
There you go. And it's amazing how many people, like, I share a lot of this, and I know a lot of it's nerves and trying to overcome the fear. But after the training yesterday, I'll get into this a little bit later as well. But after the training yesterday, I realized there was a lot of people that just that's their thing. They got to overcome this fear, and without overcoming the fear, it's going to be really difficult to press forward. But to me, I always like the idea of if you're going to fail, fail forward. You got to fail often, fast, and often, and you just fail forward. You got to. I used to always think to myself, every day I'm going to get up and fail, and if failure knocks me down, I'm going to get up and knock it the f out. That's just how I was. It didn't matter. I used to call it the fearless mindset. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well today. But before I get into all that, I'm going to let Tanya take it away with all of you guys, and we're going to go over your wins for the week. Looks like we'll start with Esmeralda. So.
Yeah, let's bring Esmeralda on. I'm excited to hear about your week. Hi.
All right. Well, good morning.
Okay, there we go. How are y'all?
You're doing well.
Good.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I had a very bad week with the assignment last week. I had 2 clients out of the country come in, and I didn't know that they were gonna take up so much of my time. So in their eyes, it was like we were gonna see each other every day. So it was just a really busy week with closings, and it was just hard. So I did not do anything on the assignment last week, and I kind of felt it. Because I did have a good week, but all of it just came from my sphere. I got nothing from videos, nothing from YouTube or Facebook, like it's been happening. I got nothing from that. So I will say I felt it this week.
Interesting, right? So I like that you bring that up because it's the consistency. And
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people are like, well, what do I do? The same thing you do at a 9 to 5 for 40 years. It doesn't change, right? And
Yeah.
I think if people think of it from that standpoint, the point you're making is very well made. It's, yeah, the consistency is not there. But now, luckily, we were able to make a lot of money in what we do. So even that 1 or 2 times that you miss, you just know that you can make up for it. So,
Yeah, it hurt me because like I always
Mhm.
want to see what's happening the following month, and I look at my board and I realized, I put myself in a predicament by not managing my time better last week with everything that was coming. And I time blocked my time out, but I didn't do what I was supposed to do on those days. And I can see it. Like once I did this last night and I'm like, wow, I really see how it does affect you when you aren't consistent with it. So luckily I was able to get 3 of my buyers from my sphere. I think I've told you I do a Facebook group just for my clients. And I did post a video in there just for my clients and got a couple of, 3 leads from them. And then everybody signed their buyer agreement. And I did have good closings last week for sure. And I got one more seller this week that is also from my sphere. He was actually in my group. He's a client in my group. And he was like, afterwards, after he saw the video, he's like, I'm glad to hear that it's getting better for buyers. He's like, but I think I'm gonna have to sell my house. So yeah.
It's also better for sellers because if the interest rates are going down, then essentially we're getting more offers, right? So that's how I'm positioning it anyways.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, people who were wondering what was holding the market, it definitely was interest rates. There's not another factor to look at now because the market slowed down and all the people that were pent up waiting to go were like, wait a minute, interest rates are coming down. That means I can afford more house and more people are going to come out and maybe start looking at ours. I brought this up yesterday, but a lot of it just boils down to understanding the difference between cyclical and seasonal. So we're in the season now where listings are tailing off. And guess what? If you're not thinking about new builds, you should be. All I do is spend all my time hanging out with new build sales counselors and listening to what they're being told from their bosses and their higher ups. Why? Because these multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar companies aren't investing in real estate in areas that aren't booming. They know this stuff before we do. So if you follow what they're doing and you watch what they're doing, I said this yesterday, but it boils down to what if you had a crystal ball that told you that September to December, builders are going to offer all kinds of incentives because they don't want to have that inventory on the books by the end of the year. And like, yeah, what if I had that crystal ball? Well, we do. It's called seasonal. We know that's going to happen. So what if you have the template set up ready to go to make all this happen for you? And that way you're not so worried and stressed out about like, well, I don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, you do. If you have the templates in place, you know there's going to be a bunch of incentives. And all you do is push a button that says, okay, push this ad out for new builds because I know this is what's going to happen for the next 3 months. And just like I talk about McDonald's commercials, no one would know if they're having a bad month. No one should know that you're having a bad month. You know what's about to come. Keep blasting out those ads. Keep blasting out those posts. Keep your social media going. And exactly what you said, Esmeralda, stuff that you've been doing. Hey, you might want to change the theme a little bit about whatever you were talking about. But if you know what season is coming, you know what content you need to start pushing in front of the people,
right?
For your audience. So,
right. I will say also for the first time this week, I fired a client, one of my sellers, and that felt really good. He's been a bully to me the entire time. He has told me many times, I don't care for your opinion. We're going to do things my way. And I mean, at the end of the day, he is right. It's probably harsh for him to say it the way, but he is. But I'm like, but you did hire me for my knowledge and expertise, not my opinion. I'm not giving you an opinion, giving you facts based upon the market and your location. But I had it like on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I think he reached out to me and he was like, you're going to check in with us every single day before the end of the day. And you're going to let me know what you're doing to sell my house. And I'm like, you won't let me do an open house. You won't let me do a broker's open. They don't want people in their house because he does work overnight. And I understand that, but I still have to show it. That we had interest from 2 people in the neighborhood. And that's why I was like, let's do an open house. Don't drop the price. We're competing literally with the new construction right beside us. I wanted to put signs in the yard that said $40,000 cheaper than a new build. And we're giving the appliances and we're giving closing costs. And he was like, we're not doing that. I'm dropping the price. I'm like, dropping the price in this market means nothing. That doesn't help you. But on Tuesday, I finally said, it's not, I'm in a good position finally. And I always wanted to get there for that reason, because I think sometimes we want to keep the transaction because we think I need that money. That's my livelihood. But I was like, enough is enough. Like, I know now with my new methods, I will get better sellers and won't have to be treated this way. So it felt really freeing and good that I was able to just say, you know what, I've got a better idea. We're just going to cancel your listing agreement today.
There you go. And that's literally the feeling that everyone wants to have. When you get to that place, then you know that you've arrived. And being in control of all of your connections, no matter what they are, those conversations, you can pick and choose who you want to be with. But I always think about it, instead of an opinion, when I'm talking to my clients, it's options. Yeah, you may not care about my opinion, but I'm just going to provide you options. If you don't like them, that's on you. You get to make the final decision, but I'm going to always state the options, because that is our job as experts. If someone says, well, I don't care about your opinion. Okay, well, that's on you, but I'm not going to be derelict in my duty because you don't like my opinion. You didn't hire me to sit here and let you fall on your face and make all these mistakes. So I'm going to state the options. You don't want to choose them, that's on you. But at a certain point, you're exactly right. Like, hey, I've given you 20 options. You don't want to use any of them. I'm probably not the right person for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was my week.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited that you had like the ability to cancel on your client, because that is really hard. But knowing that you have that ability gives you the mindset, like the abundance mindset that you need in real estate to succeed, right? So now you're like,
it also helped me learn to like how to structure things going forward with sellers, that because that won't be the first seller that's like that. So I learned how to restructure things differently. So I learned stuff from it. It was still very hard for me because I get very invested in what they need to do for their future. So at the end of the day, I did feel a bit of failure on my part, which is just natural. But at the same time, I was like, what is it? Is it even healthy for you to continue keeping somebody who doesn't even want your guidance? Like nothing. I'm just there to do the transaction. So it was like, I just had to make that decision. So yeah, it was good. But that's because of, I know I've got a lot in the pipeline. That's the only reason I felt confident to do so.
Well, one last question. So have you ever done 5 closings in a week before?
Yeah. I have.
Okay.
Yeah. But not, and again, this was only reason they all got into the week is because we had to pull one ahead, push one back. So it's not like I just some baller that I have them all in the week. It just worked out that way. But back in when we were all doing really great in real estate,
Gotcha.
That was no. So this was just a matter of shifting everybody. So it wasn't like this is a norm for me.
So when was the last time you had 5 in a week? Was it like a couple of years ago, you mean?
Yeah, about a couple of years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now
normally I'm only doing 5 or 6 a month. I'm not doing them all in 1 week.
Gotcha. And that's fair. But I'm just thinking, anytime I push people, like the new saying I'm trying to get people to promote is always under contract. Mm-hmm. So that's the feeling you want. It's not, did I reach my goal? Yeah, set the goal, but then always be under contract and then look back. I'm pretty sure you'll hit your goal.
Right. That's why I say yes, great for the closings. But what was more important to me was getting the assignment done, because the under contract is so much more important to me than the closings. Those will naturally come. So not being able to do everything I was supposed to do last week, it hurt me. Like it looks like a great week, but really, let's see what my next week looks like.
Well, I will say that means your next step is hiring an assistant.
Yeah, and I have one. And boy, I loaded her this past week. She heard an earful about, it's my daughter, but she heard an earful about, and you've got to pick up more. She manages all the Instagram stuff. So it's so funny because she's like, I'm like, people are telling me about my Instagram, and do I have one? And she's like, yes, I linked it. I'm like, that's so cool, because I've never even seen it. I don't even know what gets posted on it.
There you go. All right. Well, great week. And we look forward to more, of course.
Yeah, congratulations.
Right. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks. All right.
So next we have Ashley. It looks like you've got quite a few leads too. There's 4.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so let's see. I did so it's SOI, and I had an open house this weekend as well. And so most of the leads came from the open house. And then I have one of my past wedding clients, because we did wedding photography. They're looking to buy and sell. So we went, got a buyer's rep agreement signed. And she's also a realtor technically, but she hasn't decided what brokerage she wants to join because she just had a baby. So she decided she didn't want to do it herself. So she is allowing me to represent her. And then I have, I got a listing agreement this week as well from some of my past clients for a home coming up. And that listing that I had, that foreclosure I have, we got the offer today. So we've executed it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it closes August 30th
Outstanding.
before the pre-foreclosure in September. So, and that's it.
Well, good deal. Well, I mean, everything I'm hearing is that, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. That's when I hear Ashley going to work. It's, you've been at this just over a year now, right? Or you're just hitting the year mark?
Just a year.
Yeah. So a lot of people they get started in the industry and they panic, they freak out. But part of what I know that you had a business in the past where you had to learn how to market and how to get your name out there. A lot of that transfers. And so for a lot of people who come from W-2 jobs and they haven't ever experienced that, yeah, it's scary. And even for you, as you started to see the seasons change, you're like, what's going to happen next? But after you've been through this for 2 years, you're going to notice exactly what I talked about. It's cyclical, it's seasonal, and you just start putting yourself in front of those seasons and you'll know exactly what to do. But you're starting to see that already, right?
Mm-hmm. And one of the other buyer leads, I forgot, they initially called me because they saw my sign for my listing on Red Maple and they wanted to see the home. So I personally showed the home to them. And I told them, you know, I represent the seller in this transaction, but if you happen to find, like, you want to look at other houses, I could show you those other houses as well. So I'm working with them.
Absolutely. So now I remember I talked about the method of micro stacking. You're starting to see the benefit of having multiple sources of lead generation, right? Yep. So, and that's where a lot of times people are like, well, I got really good at one. I'm telling you, a lot of the times it's seasonal. So sometimes one lead generation platform is not going to be enough. It's different when you're looking at paid leads like Zillow and all those, because they figured out how to make all that work. So they send you leads. But of course, as you know, you'd have to give up a lot of your commission for people who are sending those leads that way. And if you can generate them yourself, especially if they're free, organic type leads, signs, anything where your SOI is helping out, your book of business, all that is super helpful. But everyone just from the numbers I'm looking at, man, I mean, we're at the end of really the end of the listing cycle, and people are putting up numbers like I haven't seen before. So if you guys are all looking at the chart here, this is crazy. So I'm sure you guys can see that these contracts will turn into closings. You know, you may lose 5% of them, but typically they turn into closings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you mention your open house? Did you have a lot of people come through?
We had 3 groups of people come in. One of them, it's an older couple, and they're considering selling their house and downsizing. They've got a 20-acre piece of land with a 3,000 square foot house that they want to sell maybe in the next year or so. So I kind of plan on keeping them in my pipeline.
Nice.
And then the other 2, they both said they have realtors, but I'm going to keep them, keep following up with them as well.
That's great. Yeah. Congratulations. And do you have more open houses planned for the rest of the year? Or?
Not this weekend. The next 2 weekends we have things going on, but I do have a listing going live today. And so we have an open house scheduled this weekend that someone else is going to do for me. So hopefully that one gets sold because it's been on the market for a while, and we decided to take it off. I paid for staging and redid the photos, so I'm hoping it does better.
So open houses do work. There you go.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're actually going to be getting more attention because from, the new change that's coming, I feel like more people are going to choose to go to open houses versus calling Zillow because they're going to get random agents there anyway. So why not meet somebody in person versus trying to sign with somebody on Zillow?
Yeah.
I see a lot of opportunity with open houses. We'll get into that in a couple of weeks, but I'm thinking you guys who went to my open house training virtual, you're going to have to start doing a lot of that because we got to get those agreements signed before we can show them the home. And I have a call into our broker. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but he's supposed to let us know. Like, my question was, do we turn people around if they don't want to sign the document to see the house? Because it's like they come to the open house, and if they're not already represented, they're not with their agent. Do we tell them, well, before I can show you the house officially, you got to sign this document? And I'm just not one for like confrontation. I'm not going to turn somebody around and wait to see the aftermath. Like, I just don't see that going very well. But I do see the opportunity for open houses to be big for all of us who are willing to, get through this and see what happens on the other side. I think it'll be big opportunity.
Awesome. Great week. Congratulations.
All right. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Ashley. All right.
Well, it looks like next we have Bessie. She had 2 leads and 2 appointments. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm curious how you set the appointments. Did we lose? She was there a second ago.
Maybe we can.
We'll skip to Rod.
Hey, good morning, team. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. How's it going?
Going well. Going well.
Awesome. So yeah, I just picked up one more on my SOI. Just that seems to be hot for some reason for me, so I'm kind of hitting the gas on that, not ignoring everything else, but focusing more on SOI if I'm honest, and just trying to turn every interaction into a possible client. Like literally at the gas station, I'll make eye contact if it's safe. And I had a gentleman talking to me yesterday, and we just started talking about stuff. And actually, somehow I turned that into like a real estate discussion. Gave him my card. He didn't get a client, but just literally sprinkling seeds everywhere I go, trying to be more deliberate about catching up with old friends. Just like you're supposed to work the SOI, and just doing that every day, and just making time that I not even schedule time to do that, but it's just becoming a natural part of my day where I'm just calling, having lunch, having breakfast, meeting someone, going out to play some pickleball, something, and making sure that I'm scouting for clients and needs.
Absolutely. Yeah. So no matter how it starts, it ends in a real estate conversation, and it will become second nature.
Right.
I think what's important to point out, though, Rod, how long have you been doing the business? How long have you been in real estate?
So with LPT on the team for like since January, but all in, I don't count before then because I had a not ideal scenario with the previous brokerage I was with. So all in, it's been about a year since I've been licensed.
Okay. So when you think about that, like if people are hearing you and you're saying, hey, I'm trying to get myself used to this, that's literally how it goes. A lot of people, I mean, you've heard me say this before, but a lot of people try to go wide before they go deep. So don't feel like you have to do a whole bunch of different techniques before you get really good at your sphere of influence. I'd prefer that you get really, really good at your sphere, learn how to dig deeper and deeper, and pull all of those resources out of there. And then when you're like, wow, I didn't know I could pull that many out. Well, guess what? That's the principle you want to learn, not necessarily a strategy or technique. The principle is way more important than the strategy or the technique, because you know that you can take that same principle, and when you go to the next way of getting leads, then you put the same amount of energy, go just as deep. So, and I think that's what happens to a lot of new agents. They try to go wide first. They're like, oh, this system didn't work, but they didn't put a lot of energy into it. And as you're seeing, you got to put way more energy than you probably thought you needed to. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, look at this. I'm getting more out of these SOI than I thought I could, but I have to keep digging deeper to do it. So I think that's a great point to bring up.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all the seeds that you're sprinkling now are definitely going to pay off here in the next couple months. It just, it takes some time to come through, but those people are going to reach out. One other thing that I always do is like an Uber driver, like, if you're in an Uber, then I always have that conversation too. So that's always
every conversation turns into like what's going on. And then I find a way to kind of segue into like real estate, right? So every single one. So I'm being deliberate about that more than I was before. Before it's like, where can I inject this? Every conversation I have, it turns into that discussion or what's going on with your house, your kids, or whatever, and it turns into like hopefully an opportunity, whether then or at some point in the future.
Absolutely. All right. Well, great deal. Yep. Good. It's good feedback for everybody to hear, and trust me, it doesn't seem like it, but I'm telling you, digging deeper is way more important than going wider. So,
all right, good to hear, because that's what I'm doing. Thanks.
All right, you got it.
Congrats.
All right, looks like we got Bessie now. We can bring her up. All right. Good morning, Bessie.
Hi.
You're okay. You're able to hear us? All right, good deal. All right, well, walk us through.
Can you hear me?
Coming in and out, but Oh, it looks like she's frozen.
There it goes. Sometimes if you turn your camera off, then we can hear you. If you turn your camera off, you can try that.
Turn my camera off.
Yeah, then it gives you a little bit better bandwidth.
All right. Are you able to hear us?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yes.
Walk us through your week. Yep.
Okay. I had 2 sphere of influence. I'm helping my niece and my son both looking to buy. So we went out this weekend, last week, and my son has one contract. We're just waiting for the contract to the loan to finally get finished. And
Okay.
my seller lead is a past client. She's her husband passed away, so she's wanting to look into putting the house on the market. So I'm meeting with her today to see where we're going to go from there.
Gotcha. And those are always touchy situations, but if you know how to handle them, and obviously you do, because that's typically they'll reach out to you because they see you as that type of agent, that type of person. So those are kind of interesting. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how you handle that next week when you go through with that listing presentation.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, good job. I mean, like I said, everybody's kind of cooking now, and it looks like even though the market has changed, maybe it was just the interest rates, but even sphere of influence, people are jumping out going, hey, here I am. Now that I know you're in real estate, I think a lot of people are starting to see the importance of keeping top of mind. I know a conversation comes up a lot of times where people are like, well, my family members should just know that I'm in the market. Like, they don't. So staying top of mind is going to always be important, no matter how long we're in the business.
Yeah.
But great job, Bessie. Yeah, I mean, your sphere of influence trusts you. That says a lot. So
Thank you.
all right.
Yeah, congratulations. Good week.
All right. Who's up next? So we got Evangeline. Another good week.
It looks like you had a great week too, Evangeline. Congrats.
Good morning. Yeah, it was pretty good. So I did complete the assignment, and I had 4 buyer leads. One of them came from Facebook Marketplace. Somebody just posted that they needed a realtor, and my sister was in the group, and she tagged me in, and then they reached out to me. One of them was a spear, and then I had a website, and then one was a referral from a spear from California. So the California and my spirit, they both signed a contract. So we're under we're signed agreements with them. He's coming in. The California guy is coming in on Thursday of next week to go looking at houses. And then I had seller leads, 2 of them, and one with a past client. And then the other one was that buyer spirit that I had. She's also putting her house on the market. So we're going to put the house on the market August 17th. So,
Man, you had a really good week. So here's my question: how are you finding that you're able to stay figuring out that staying top of mind is what keeps your sphere so into you? So have you gained a lot from just watching and learning what we do here?
yes, a whole lot. Yes. And also social media is huge because so many people post, you can see a whole bunch of posts and a whole bunch of realtors, but I also jump in comments on their things and, trying to interact with them on social media a lot. So that way, they remember me. Hey, I'm here.
And that's the key. So it's so interesting. I'm glad you brought all this stuff up, because I think, from when we first started doing the mastermind, it was kind of hard to explain to everybody without hearing everybody else's input how important top of mind is. So just using that phrase, okay, well, I'm doing the best I can. It's like, maybe. But everything you just said, like if there's social media posts, are you reaching out on social media just saying, hey, I'm a realtor? Or are you saying, hey, how can I help you? And that's the difference. A lot of times people are just like, everyone's going after that same person. Well, then your proposition has to be different than everybody else's. then on top of that, if they see your post, let's say they click on your link and they go, oh, look at the brand. Look at their post. Look at what they've done. Hey, they posted that they've helped with their friends, and they post a story versus just saying, hey, I'm selling a bunch of real estate. Then your friends and family say, oh, wow, you're way more active on the internet than before. You do a lot more social media stuff. Things must be going well. You must really know what you're doing, right? And that's the assumption they make, whether you're brand new in the business or been in it forever. As long as they see you're active and they see you're doing a lot and they see you everywhere, you got to be omnipresent. So to me, that's the lesson that sounds like everyone's getting. I love it, because now I'm actually seeing the whole intent of the mastermind, where it's not just top of mind, but you're top of mind everywhere. And that's what keeps you top of mind. So it's a cycle that just keeps repeating itself. But great week. I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. That is great. I love the idea about commenting on social media versus just doing posts, because some people will, post and ghost, they say, and we don't want to do that. Like, the whole purpose of doing posts or even being on social media is to build those relationships and keep them going. So congrats on you, because some people just post and ghost.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Great job. All right. Who's up? Looks like we got Charmaine's with us.
Can you hear me?
All right. You're on.
Hi.
Hey, Charmaine.
Hi. So I picked up 2 buyer leads. One was from an open house. One was from Facebook. And they're both looking to buy within the next couple months. And actually, the one from the open house, he's also a seller. So I should have put that on there too. He's going to buy a home and sell.
There you go. So once again, open houses work, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. And that one was with a builder. So it worked out pretty good. Then let me see. Oh, I had a closing this week, and that one was my investor client. And that's pretty much it for this week.
Well, there you go. Yep. And once again, I mean, staying active. We talked about the law of inertia. I appreciate all the folks that came out to the training yesterday, but it's like when you're in motion, you tend to stay in motion. And Lakeisha is going to come up here at some point, but Lakeisha was out the other day. I'm going to let her tell her story, but she was out the other day when the builder was closed, but they ended up coming to meet her for a client, and a bunch of people started showing up. So now that the market has shifted, people are going looking at homes again. So you're going to see it's going to seem kind of weird, because interest rates drop and consumers are still looking at homes. People didn't believe it, but they are. The consumers are way smarter than we give them credit for. They're seeing the changes in the market, and boom, now all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork. So,
Yeah, and I also noticed, Charmaine, that you have a accountability partner, a lender. So that's really, really great idea. I love that.
It's been very, very helpful. So it keeps me on task, and her, and it's open to other people too. So if anybody's interested, let me know.
Yeah, well, I think that's just a great way to utilize our lenders, right? Because this group is great, but having that one-on-one also, like, in addition to it, just makes you that much more accountable. Like, I have an accountability partner too. That's the only reason why I make those 5 phone calls. I'm like, okay, if she's going to do it, then I'm going to do it. And so I think that just really accelerates your productivity.
Absolutely. Yep. And I will bring up a little bit about accountability. Some of the folks at the training yesterday saw this, but I'll bring it up for some of the folks that didn't. But accountability is huge, and that's why I thought it was a great merge with Sammy and Jenna, because they were the ones who were holding the accountability groups and all that. And I'm like, hey, it all goes hand in hand. So perfect. All right, great job. All right, we got Chase. I think she's on the other. And yep. So we got Phyllis. Looks like she picked up a YouTube lead or 2. See if she's on. Okay. Yep. We'll add Phyllis to the stage. All right.
And a closing, and she's been out of town for the whole summer.
Are you with us, Phyllis?
All right, I'm here. I couldn't figure out how to unmute. I don't know why. Hey, everyone. Yes, so I picked up a YouTube buyer. They're coming in next month to look at homes, and he's getting transferred from California with Costco. So he's still trying to see which Costco he's going to be at.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. And I did have my first closing with a YouTube client. So that's really good. That's paid off my hard work.
Well, there you go.
That was the closing that I had this week. What else do I have in there? Oh, seller leads. Yeah, I picked up one from Marketplace from a listing that I have, an ad out there, a listing that I have. So that's one of the seller leads. And then the other listing appointment that I had is, I don't remember what it was for, from, I think it was from Facebook as well. But I haven't met with them yet. So I'm setting up that appointment.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and I think everyone's starting to see like YouTube is a different animal. How long have you been running YouTube ads or
2 months.
posting? 2 months?
3 months, yeah.
So about 3 months, and that's typically right here, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. So 3 months is right in the middle. So a lot of times that immediate gratification everybody's looking for, they freak out about YouTube. But I'm sure you can tell after posting 3 months worth of videos that one closing is enough to make you realize like it ain't so bad.
Yeah, it's not. I only have 7 videos out there, and I have like over 7,000 views, which is crazy. I haven't really had time this summer with everything that's going on with my personal life. I haven't really had time to record, but I plan to record more when I come back, when kids start school back up again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, that's why real estate is seasonal. So just like our schedules change, so do the consumers. And again, if you know what's coming, put yourself in front of it. That's why video is so huge, because once you do it, you don't have to keep reproducing it, especially if it's the evergreen type of videos.
Yeah.
And I know your videos are exactly that. Like you post content, more of like market updates, what's going on with the communities, and that type of stuff. If you're thinking relocation, that's a great niche for pretty much everybody. It's hard sometimes to post certain communities because if they close out in new builds, you never know. Listings always every 30 days or some, well, now up to 100 days, they're going to be closed and you can't keep picking up leads from that. But YouTube videos, as long as they're running, you start building a fan base, they can always get to your channel. And as long as you're posting something that's related to your content and it's all within the same realm, then you start getting people to binge watch your material. And that's what creates the raving fans that you want. So when they do think of real estate, they're like, I'm only going to think of Phyllis because that's the only person I see. And they binge watch your material and they're like, it's only 7 videos, but they're all 7 are the ones I wanted to see. So that's what matters. So a lot of people are like, well, I have a whole bunch more videos than 7 and I'm not getting that kind of result because they may be all over the place. You know, if you're a new build specialist and you're posting about everything but new builds, that kind of looks different. If you're a VA specialist, but you don't really post about just VA. So that kind of is a little bit different. But if you're a relocation specialist and people are coming here, I mean, that leaves a lot of room. So if you come from a relocation standpoint, you can cover almost everything because they're looking for everything. So kind of how you brand yourself and I know that's your brand. So
yeah, I started doing what Esmeralda was doing. I did a short video, and I sent it to my friends, and I have some people like forwarding my video to other people. So I'm just waiting to see how that works. But I just did that this week.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's awesome. I'm loving this. Yeah, this is fantastic.
I'll send you my video so you can see it.
Yeah, please do. That'd be great.
Yeah, everybody, if you got videos, send them my way. I'd like to see them.
Yeah. Post them in the community.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
And also, which YouTube video was the one you've had with most views so far?
It's the good and the bad of San Antonio.
Nice. The pros and cons. That's definitely
the pros and cons. Yes.
a good one.
I've heard from what I've seen, those work really well because it makes you come across as way more honest than just trying to hype up San Antonio. Like, no, there's some bad things here too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And my videos are not more than 10 minutes long. I feel like if it's longer than that, it doesn't. I do have one that's longer than 10 minutes and it doesn't have a lot of views.
Interesting. That's good feedback.
Yeah.
Because usually some people have like 20-minute long videos. So
yeah.
There's a lot of time too out of your day to edit those type of things. So
yeah.
Under 10.
Yeah.
All right. But great job. Way to
Thank
go,
you.
All right, so it looks like we got Lakeisha here. It looks like you had a strong week too. Good Lord. Everybody's on fire.
Yay, a closing too. That's awesome. Congrats.
Gotta make sure you
Yeah, yeah.
unmute. Make sure you unmute.
Oh, good morning. Sorry.
Good morning.
I'm so sorry. But no, I think I made a mistake. I don't know if I shared with you guys my closing on the 25th of July. So I think I made a mistake and put that closing there. But okay, but I'll still share it.
Oh, no worries.
Hey, that's a closing is a closing. Congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. So last week was pretty busy. Very, very busy for me. I had a blue tape walking for an upcoming closing. And I got a call from Spirit of Influence my daughter was in a daycare center. So I got very good in with the family that owns it. So they always come to me. And so this particular year, their son, he was supposed to buy a house last year, but he chickened out and didn't do it. So he finally called last week and got a pre-approval for $150,000. And I'm like, wow, this sounds a little bit more like my previous client. So I'm like, wow, he's going to pay a lot. I said, wow, I think I should refer him to Lennar. Thank God for the salesperson that I work with at Lennar. She's always sending me updates on a community, so that's how I'm in the know with all the specials and everything they have. And so I'm like, I can get you into a more spacious home, better interest rate, and better payment. So we got under contract last week.
For someone who's just thinking about getting going, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing how new builds do that for people, because they have these preconceived notions that it's going to cost me X amount of money to get into a home because they've heard the 20% or whatever that may be. And then you go to somewhere like Lennar and they go, well, I was told by my lender that I could afford X amount of house. And then they go, well, that doesn't include a new build, because it doesn't. Like if they're telling you only get approved for 150, but the house they're looking at is, what did you say, it was like 160 something?
Yes, the house.
Yeah, and so from their perspective, like, oh, I didn't think I could afford that much. So it's really important to talk about monthly payment with your clients, but also take them to new builds. That's like, no matter what I talk about, it's always going to be about new builds. Like, show them the options because you're the expert.
Yeah, because he got approved through Lennar for 216.
Wow.
Well, he went from 150 to 216.
Wow. So I hope everybody heard that. Like, and right now interest rates are dropping like crazy. So when the interest rates drop overall, the builders they buy in bulk. And so I think Lennar is like 4.25 is the last I heard for a fixed rate. Some of these other builders are doing like 4.99, but they have a 2-1 buy down. So it's 2.99, 3.99, 4.99. And so all these options are great. But again, if you want to learn about real estate, watch these builder reps. That's why I encourage everybody on my team. You're going to learn way more from me by meeting more and more builder reps. Go to every builder rep you can. Lennar and D.R. Horton are on one level. They're like the bulk builders. They have a whole lot of clients and a whole lot of homes. Then you're going to see like Perry, Beezer Homes, these custom homes. Just try to meet different builders on different levels so that you can be in the know about all this. And Lakeisha's taking, all kinds of advantage of this, because the more she sees from the builders, the more it's like, I can predict what's going to happen. Just like you said, my previous client sounded very, very similar to a previous client. That's how this business works. So if you're out there learning this, then the next time it happens, you're like, I have this knowledge I can rely on. And again, if you're not doing new builds, like I always tell people, you have to still be able to do pre-owns. That's never going to be out of the question. But if you focus on new builds, you're just going to learn more about real estate, period. It's just because every builder is different. They all have these different incentives. And if you watch a sales counselor, a lot of people will think, well, I can't talk about this stuff. Everything that a sales counselor can talk about, so can a realtor. Just like they pull out that little calculator and go, here are all the different programs, you can do the same thing. And if you listen to sales counselors, they literally know exactly where to stop talking about financing too. They'll say, yeah, that's a lender question. And they will literally push, if they get to that point where they can't talk about it, they're like, nah, lender question. And so there's a place where all of us can learn from that. Hey, I'm afraid to talk about certain things. Well, why? is there a legitimate reason, or can you actually talk about it? And just there's a certain place where you can hand it off to the lender. So I think Lakeisha's learning a whole lot more about what we can and can't do just from what you just described. I'm hearing that you're picking up on parameters that the financing helps no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too, so another lead I got, well, it was a previous lead, and we went out, showed them homes, then they actually just fell off, just ghost me. So I sent them a text message, and I showed concern in there. I showed that I'm still here for you. I showed that I understand that you're not ready right now. That's probably why you're not picking up your phone, or you're not, reacting to any previous messages I was sending. So I sent a heartfelt one at that time. And all of a sudden, I got a response. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, we have not forgotten about you. We're just not ready right now. So I got a call from them. Got a call from them a couple weeks ago. They found out, hey, our situation is better now. It's been like at least 3 months since I heard from them. And so that was the one that Julian was speaking about, that they needed a 6:30 appointment. KB closes at 6. They knew exactly what community they wanted to be in, the area and everything. I'm like, you know what? I got to make this work. Staying not only on top of mind of clients, but the sales reps too. I ended up, I have 2 sales reps, maybe 3, that I'm like the VIP realtor. And they send me stuff. One even gave me a key. Like, you can open up any house you want to open up. So he took off on his day. He's off. He was off Tuesday. He came over to see me at 6:30, and I was like honored to be, to walk with my clients through that, what that looked like for them.
Yep. So when we say we have great relationships with builders in the city, now you know what that feels like. People are like, well, how do you get those relationships? By introducing yourself and sharing heartfelt messages, right? That's the key. I want to serve X amount of families, not how can I get the listing on your properties, right? And every builder I work with, that's what they always told me. Well, you never asked us that, JJ. So I'm like, so I'm trying to see how many people you can bring to your buildings or your homes and get them sold. Me showing up talking about how do I get one of your listings, like that, just it's, as Tanya brought up the other day, it's commission breath. Like that's all you care about. Thanks, but no thanks. But no, and I know you care about your clients, and I'm sure that all the sales counselors can see that. So that's the benefit to that. So yeah, great story. I love it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up. And yeah, the better relationships you have with the builders, I mean, down the road, that could potentially lead to a listing because they know that you're a great agent and you care about your clients. So it is about building that relationship, not just going in there and asking for business, right? So congrats.
Thank you.
All right. And it looks like we have Andrea, which looks like you picked up 9 seller leads. I'm definitely interested in that. Is Andrea with us here? I don't see her. I don't see her. All right. I'll do an interview with her on that one and find out how she picked up 9 seller leads, because that's pretty interesting. But with that, I'll jump into this really quick. I won't go through it for super long. Next week's assignment, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, I'll go with that first. But I mentioned everyone basically that we just went through 15, 16, and 17 because I wanted people to be ready to handle any listings, and it looks like there are going to be people getting listings. So 15, multi-option strategy. 16 was listing agent presentation. That was assignment we did last week. So if you got through all 3 of those or the week before, you're good to go. We're now at week 12. So last week's assignment was to catch up on week 10 and 11. Week 10 was just going over marketplace leads. So if you got a chance to knock those out, great. If you saw these examples and then you went all the way to the bottom of this, not only are you seeing the strategy for the leads, but I also have the conversations in here. So that way, anyone who's going through this is like, oh, okay, I finally get to see what a conversation looks like that works. And literally what Lakeisha was talking about, everything you see here, this particular individual was my marketing assistant, and she decided to get a license. And so she'd always send me messages and go, I just lost a client. They're not speaking to me. I'd read their message and go, that's because they're feeling this way. Like I could read a message and I literally could be like, yeah, this is what we need to say to get them back. So I text the message and then she's like, they're back. I'm like, yeah, because they're thinking this, and you're thinking because you're nervous and emotional about the business, you're not thinking about how to help them. And the true answer is every time they state a problem, we have to be there to solve it. A lot of times in real estate, we're thinking from the standpoint of, well, they're not ready. Like, yeah, that means opportunity to me. Not that they're not ready. It's like, oh, their credit's bad. Great. How can we help you with your credit? Not, oh, they got bad credit. And then someone says, well, they got student loan debt. How do we help them with student loans? Next thing I heard someone tell me, there's a company called My Education Solutions that helps with student loan forgiveness. I call them up. We start just sending clients to them. Hey, don't give up on anything. We can help you with student loans. We can help you with this. That's part of our elevator speech. Hey, we don't tell you no, we tell you how. If you have any problems with your credit, down payment, student loan, or anything of that nature that might prevent you from getting pre-approved for a loan, we're here to help. We have solutions. That's our elevator speech. So if you put something together like that, where you're actually sharing that you can help people through your speech, your elevator speech, you would just overcome those objections. And that's a winner for you. And so whenever I do my presentations, that's how I build them. Every time I go home, I don't like to use the generic presentations, because when I first got in the industry, every time I had an objection that wasn't overcome, I literally would put it in my presentation, because I learned when I was doing sales in health clubs that the best way to overcome objections is in the presentation. So if you have an elevator speech that overcomes it, your presentation overcomes it, then they're not looking at you like you're just responding because I told you I had a problem and you're trying to convince me that I should use you. Well, if it's sitting there in a manual that you wrote months, weeks before they met you, they're not thinking that it was directed to them. They're like, oh, you really do have these solutions. If you said it prior to them bringing it up in your elevator speech, oh, they do this for everyone. If you respond to people, it sounds like a used car salesman. And that's the reason why you want to have the preparation and the material ahead of time. Cover that stuff in your presentation. Don't wait for them to come up with an objection and then try to, oh, I'm great at overcoming objections. You might be, but to me, education just works way better. Educate them first, build those raving fans, and then they're not comparing you to every other agent out there anyway. Yeah, and I don't want to be compared to people who are great at overcoming objections because they're good salesmen. I want my clients to feel like they were well educated. So hopefully that makes sense, everybody. But that's week 10, week 11, more of the same. But this one, if you follow this one, then the other one will be just as easy. I want to go over this really quick. Some of the stuff I took away from yesterday's meeting for everyone who wasn't there, and I'll go over this quickly and then we'll wrap it up for today. But I'm putting together 30K for 90 days. So a lot of people that I talked to yesterday, they're saying like it's great to be able to do lead generation and learn all these advanced techniques. And they're, some of them are getting a whole bunch of, coaches and mentors reaching out to them and saying, hey, I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. And I'm like, if you can get a hold of a bunch of different coaches and they're all going to pull you in different directions, you got to find those that are, complementary to each other. One coach is going to tell you one thing, another one tells you something different. Those are probably not complementary coaches. So if you got one coach for, let's say, accountability, another one for building your skills, another one for motivation, yeah. But there's some coaches who do all of it. And if any of that information is contrary to another coach, you're going to start getting confused. And I know a lot of people that I've talked to that are on my team from just a year ago, they, after hearing me bring that up multiple times, they're like, I didn't realize how right you were. I've been in the industry for 5 to 8 years, and I've been stagnant for so many years because I always got these conflicting stories. And I didn't know which one to listen to. So I'm like, yes. So now I'm going to, hopefully, after hearing what I heard yesterday, this paragraph will clear it up. And like I said, I'll wrap it up here. But it just boiled down to, I literally just came up with this before we got on the call. But achieving goals is a challenge that often goes unmet despite meticulous planning and scheduling. Shockingly, only 10% of people follow through with their goals. Why does this happen? Well, the key reason is lack of commitment to overcoming obstacles. Many are so focused on the perfect outcome immediately that every obstacle results in complete abandonment. That's not commitment. That's merely an interest. You must tackle the obstacles the same way you tackle the goal. Improve your basic skills, skill level every day for 5 years, not 5 months. This is commitment. You have to first recognize it's you, not the process, not the coach, not the system. It's you. You must commit and never quit. To reach your goals, you must first learn to land in every circumstance. Master this skill, continue to be a student of the game, get better, and then use the GPS or goal plan schedule to navigate your path. Without the ability to land in all circumstances, you won't really even bother to take off. And then the GPS becomes useless. So that's basically the statement I put together there. And then it's like these skills are required to master the basics. Learn it as if you're a leader that must teach it. That's how I define mastery. Learn it as if you're a leader that must teach it. Constantly get better and be held accountable for your commitment, allowing you to attain the goals that 90% of realtors fail to reach. But hopefully everybody got something out of that. But that is literally the difference that I've seen. A lot of times we don't master things. And if you get to the point where you master it to the level where you're teaching your clients, you're leading and teaching, you become that person. Now everybody sees you as a go-to person. They see you as an expert. They're not going to use anybody else. They're not even going to consider anybody else. And so when everybody else is saying, oh, I don't think we should know it to that level, that's really not our job. What rule says we can't? There's no rule out there that says you can't learn it to whatever level you want. You can go get a loan officer license if you want to. And then come back and say, well, that's not something we should be talking about. Why not? There's not a single thing that says you can't go get a loan officer license. Only 20 hours of training. You go get it. And then someone says, well, you sound like you know everything about loans. Well, I know more than the average realtor, that's for sure. Well, that's not going to hurt you. That can only help you. So little things like that can help you master it. And then you want to think, how do I teach it? How do I lead my clients and teach it? So that's a good thing. I'll probably record the video on accountability. I don't know if we have time to get into it. It looks like we're pushing 11 and I don't want to go past that. But yeah, when I did this yesterday, there's a whole page on accountability. But I will record a video on this. I might even record this whole thing. But I go over like the 4 different levels of accountability. So everyone who's the training, if nothing else, I'll go through this portion, record it, and let you guys see, how important accountability is, because it does matter. And to me, that's like one of the missing links to why we don't achieve our goals. We don't hold ourselves accountable, and we actually could not only hold ourselves accountable, but get other people to hold us accountable. All right. Well, once again, great week. I'll let Tanya close it out here, but you guys did fantastic, and I hope everybody got something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see how the rest of the year ends up looking for everyone, because I can see the change in just 1 week, right? Like of everybody being on the mastermind week by week, everything is getting better and better, and people are following through. And I think by the end of the year, you guys are going to be new people. So new agents and better agents, the ones that are going to get all the market share with the changes that are going to be coming up already next week. So keep crushing it. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday next week.
All right. See you guys.